What's going on, everybody? My name is Joe Malone. I'm a former MARSOC Marine, and I now teach people how to be safe against violence and violent crime. Husbands, if you want your wives to be comfortable with firearms, then I recommend you at least consider this case study here that I'm putting out for you all, because this is what worked for me with my wife, who, when we went shooting for the first time, it was an absolute disaster, and she swore that she was never going to be a firearms person. And now she's incredibly comfortable with guns, incredibly comfortable with using them in self-defense. So here it is, 10 things that I derived out of this little reflection of mine. Number one, don't force it on them. Whenever you have a significant other who is already nervous with firearms, if you start to force it on them, all you're doing is you're elevating the anxiety chemicals within them. If you elevate those anxiety chemicals inside of your wife, then it's just going to shut down the logical thinking part of our brain. Our brain has three main compartments: the primitive, which is responsible for your survival, the emotional, and then the logical thinking part of the brain. And it doesn't work well, they do work all together at the same time, but at varying levels and degrees. And if you activate one more than the other, then the other ones have to shut down in order to supply the energy to those parts of the brain. So for example, if your wife is already nervous around firearms and you keep pushing it on her, you need to get good, what that's doing is that's elevating the anxiety neurochemicals in her body, activating that parasympathetic, or that sympathetic nervous system, I should say, and it's shutting down her logical thinking part of the brain. So she's not going to ever be able to be convinced that firearms are a good thing. So do not force it on your significant other. So where do we go from here if we're not going to force it on them? 2, encourage. So be encouraging towards her whenever the topic in discussion comes up. Give it some time, let it cool down if it recently came up in conversation, and then bring it up to her in the sense of, hey, I think that it could be a really good bonding experience if you and I just went. I think that you would be awesome at it. I simply explained to my wife what it would mean to me if she would at least just come out to the gun range and watch me shoot. Just by having her come out and watch me shoot, I was able to open her up to the idea of actually pulling the trigger a few times herself. And so I came from a very positively reinforcing perspective, where I was just encouraging her the entire time, and I explained to her how much it would mean to me and our relationship, and it could be a potentially fun thing for us to do in the future together. Not that I'm going to pressure her into doing it at all, but I just want her to come to the range with me. So I recommend that you do that. All right, learning point number 3. So for me, as a former Special Operations Marine, I had the background to teach my wife, along with her friends, and many other people. Why? Because that's just what I've done my entire adult life. For somebody like yourself, you'll most likely need to hire somebody, and this is going to come into play in a couple of different ways. One is, it's not you teaching your wife. Your wife has already associated you with stress when it comes to firearms. So you're going to want to hire a third-party person, somebody who preferably has a lot of instructor experience, so that they're this neutral subject matter expert in her eyes. Then, when that person comes in and is giving her good, thorough, calm, patient instruction, she's going to be much more receptive to receiving that information. Husbands, do not interject in the teaching at all. I'm telling you guys, I've separated husbands and wives from each other, opposite sides of the classroom, in some of my firearms training programs, because I could just see that the husband is just immediately triggering within the wife. And quite honestly, the husband gets triggered right away when he sees the wife struggling with the same things that he's told her 10,000 times. So don't interject. Hire a professional, that objective third-party expert, to come on in and do that training, so then that way she's not associating the experience with the negative experiences that you and her have had in the past. All right, learning point number 4. Make sure it's an outdoor gun range on a very nice warm day. Do not by any means go to an indoor gun range. I'm telling you guys, that is one of the worst mistakes you can make. That's one of the mistakes I made with my wife the first time I brought her shooting, along with many others. I forced it on her. I was always, up in arms about it, and I was trying to teach her myself, which again, she had that negative experience associated with me. It took years for me to get her to go to the range with me again. So don't go to an indoor gun range. It's very stressful. There's a lot of loud noises. There's always some douchebag with a 50 cal shooting it off over in the corner. So make sure it's an outdoor range, not very crowded, something where she could feel calm and just like collect her thoughts and emotions, not somewhere where she's gonna be high stress. Remember, it's all about decreasing those anxiety chemicals and increasing the positive experiences, the positive chemicals, so that she tethers the positivity with the experience that you're having. So go to an outdoor range. Learning point number 5. You must, and I mean must, start her off with a .22 caliber or a .380 and nothing else. I made another big mistake when it came to my wife, where I started her off with this massive Springfield XD45 with a 5-inch barrel. That was one of the worst things I could have done, because she has this hand cannon firing inside of an indoor range, and she's already stressed out to begin with because the way that I was giving energy towards her. The whole experience was just shot for her from the start. So do not start your wife off with anything more than a 22 or a 380. Now, what's going to happen is when they shoot that 22, I guarantee you guys, this happens every single time. She's going to shoot and she's going to turn around and be like, oh my God, that's it? Don't freak out over the fact. Again, you shouldn't even be interjecting with the professional instruction that's taking place, but I guarantee you, she will be shocked at how little recoil there is, and she's going to immediately feel empowered. I'm telling you guys, start her off with the 22, maybe a 380, and then a lot of your other wives are gonna be like, this is weak, I can't even believe that's a gun. And so they're gonna be excited, empowered, and confident when it goes to moving up to those higher calibers like 380 or 9mm. So don't make the mistake I made in giving your wife a large 45 caliber pistol to shoot for the first time at an indoor range. Keep it small, keep it 22 or 380. All right, learning point number 6. Whenever she does become confident enough to start shooting on the gun range, because she's gone up through these other steps that I've mentioned to you here before, start off with only slow fire. Don't start running her into box drills and failure to stop drills and 3 to the chest, 1 to the face. Just calm it back down. Reel yourself back down and just give her the opportunity to do slow fire at a short distance. Maybe 10, 15 yards is probably as close as I would really take it for most of these shots. Eventually you can move it in, but I actually encourage you to keep it at 25 yards or 15 yards and out. Why 15 yards and out? That's really when we start to see the fundamentals coming together, and we can ensure that they're applying those fundamentals whenever they are shooting. If you want them to get a little bit of dry fire practice, I highly recommend the Mantis X kit. It mounts to the bottom of your handgun. If you have a Sig Sauer like me, you need a special adapter kit, which I actually still need to order. That would have been nice to know ahead of time with Mantis. So shout out to you for your product, but I really would have liked to have known that, especially because the 365 is such a common EDC these days, everyday carry. But I digress too. The Mantis X is a really great system for your wife to be dry firing on, and you can go ahead and see what fundamentals it is that she's going to need work on whenever you do actually get to the gun range. But remember, you're not her trainer, you're not her instructor, you're her husband. She right now is morphing the negative experiences and firearm association of you to that to a positive one. So be very cautious as to how you approach this. Again, I highly recommend you just continue to hire an instructor so that she's not automatically elevating those nervous, anxiety-riddled neurochemicals. So make sure that you just keep it slow fire. Do not start running her into drills until she is ready to actually move forward with those drills that she sees you shooting out on the gun range. Learning point number 7, weapons handling. So build the confidence in your wife by showing her how to lock the slide to the rear, and then let her do it herself each and every time. And then if she's struggling and she asks you for help, then you can come in and help her. But again, this really highlights the importance of having a good instructor, because I'm going to tell them to bring the gun in close to their body, turn their body, not the gun, trace their hand up their body, grab that slide, have that thumb ready to go, disassociate the trigger finger from the firearm so it's nice and straight and off the gun, and then push 80%, pull 20% while pushing up with that thumb on that slide lock, slide release. That is going to build their confidence more than anything else aside from shooting well and accurately. Proper weapons handling and firearm manipulation, I tell you guys, that is the thing right there that's going to build her confidence, and it's going to just continue to compound on all the other positive experiences that she's had so far. For guns like this that are easy to manipulate, you want to keep in mind that slide tension. So maybe you do buy her a custom firearm, something nice and cute, but even like the Sig 365 and even like the Glock 40s, you're going to have a pretty difficult time because those springs have a lot of tension on them. I know the CZs have pretty good spring tension in terms of weapons manipulation, and then some other custom ones, but just look for something that is easy for her to lock to the rear. Not a Shield 2.0, that's for damn sure, but something that is simple so that she could manipulate it well and build a lot of confidence off of that. Learning point number 8 for me, buy her something cute. A cute pair of earmuffs and a cute range bag go a long way in making them feel like it's a part of their life, like it's their sport. So after you've done all these other things, getting them a nice little pair of earmuffs, whether it's in her favorite color, doesn't have to be cute, I just say cute because my wife liked the pink ones, and a range bag to match, Now you're thinking from the female perspective. Hey, it matches, it looks pretty trendy, it doesn't just look stupid and tactical green. So get her something that is going to make her feel like, hey, this is mine, and it has to do with shooting. You know, maybe not a gun yet, unless, like I said in the previous one, you know, you buy her one that she can lock to the rear. But even then, that's kind of a step too far. Maybe you just buy it for yourself and then let her use it. But you want to start to integrate a feeling of ownership with her now into the firearms industry. That right there is going to be a huge positive step. Learning point number 9. After you've done all these things, you've gone to the range, she's received a little bit of professional instruction, she has some confidence in the slow fire, she knows how to handle a weapon properly. She's now really made that turning point where you're no longer negatively associated with the firearms experience and you are more positively associated with the firearms experience. She has a bit of ownership because she's got her earmuffs, she's got a range bag, and maybe she even has a weapons cleaning kit at this point. Maybe she even got her own little box of ammo to carry box of ammo. Like one of the ones where it's not like a stock box, but you know, you put the ammo in, you guys know what I'm saying. So she's developed a sense of ownership. Ask her to go and grab the gun for you whenever it's unloaded. So I would purposefully place my gun upstairs or in a drawer or in the safe, unloaded, and then I would act as if though I had forgotten it and I would ask her to go get it for me. This starts to build up her confidence when you're not around and in the home. This association is really important because at home, where the kids are at, you know, she's going to get the gun, she's walking through the fundamentals, the 4 weapon safety rules, while she's getting it with her finger straight up and off the trigger in an unloaded state. So there really is no threat in case she does mess up a little bit. But this is a really critical learning opportunity for her because she's getting the gun on her own at home. Lots of associations coming into play here, and she's doing you a favor. So it shows that you trust her within the firearms realm to make that type of an action for you. Hey, please go get my gun, babe. I forgot about it. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Great job. I noticed you kept your finger straight off the trigger. You didn't point it at me when you handed it to me. I'm really proud of you, babe. Again, positive reinforcement, positively encouraging her. So now she's developing even more confidence in a different environment, the home, which is the most important one, with firearms and associating more positive experiences. All right, lastly, what I would recommend from my reflection back on all the mistakes that I made with my wife. I would recommend that you look up some women's only firearm training in your local area and you leave it open on your web browser. Let the wife walk by and see it and think to herself, I didn't know there was women's only courses, or maybe I did. Hey, that's only a couple $100. It's not right down the road, and it's going to be a bunch of other women and me who are probably going through the same experiences. Perfect. Now she's going to want to take the initiative and come to you about signing up for that class, or maybe she'll just sign herself up for it herself. But that's going to be like the final capstone, is where she is now taking the initiative to go out and receive more professional training in a group and an environment separate from you, full of women who are most likely experiencing a lot of the same issues when it comes to their husbands being overbearing, and they want to learn about firearms training. They're all at the same point in desire and interest, but perhaps they just haven't actually taken that final step yet. So leave it open on the web browser, or make a gentle suggestion if you don't have a web browser that you could leave open on a computer at home. And let her be the one who makes that choice. I'm telling you guys, that right there will be killer. That will be the final straw in that whole series, where she now will become a very confident firearms user. And most importantly, she'll be so much more capable of keeping herself against violence and violent crime. I'm telling you guys, I've done all these things wrong, which is why in my self-reflection upon it all, I decided, man, maybe I should really come out with a video so I could help some other loving and caring husbands out there who maybe just don't know exactly how to communicate that love and care in the capacity of firearms and firearms training. So I hope that you all find this very helpful. Look, if you want more information on this type of stuff, the Lethality University is what I've created. It's life-saving skills for anyone and everyone to learn. We have weekly coaching calls where we can talk with me directly, and then we have weekly interviews with people like other special operations dudes, tier 1 Delta operators. We got some CIA guys. We have some neurologists, some child doctors, pediatricians, some actual doctors, nutritionists, some physical fitness experts, some serious heavy hitters that you probably see on social media quite often. And you can talk to them and you can ask them questions weekly on a weekly basis that are pertaining to you and your life and your lifestyle, all encompassing what I like to call the lethal lifestyle. And we must be capable of being lethal, because those capable of great lethality are capable of preserving great peace. 2024 is going to be a gnarly year. It's already setting up to be. Don't get caught with your pants down like you probably did in 2020, where you didn't even have enough propane or enough ice in the extra chest, the freezer chest, to keep your stuff cold, and it all probably went and spoiled, or toilet paper shortages, all that type of dumb shit. So join the Lethality University, Lethal U. I'll put a link in the description if you want to get more detailed information like this, plus so much more, guys. There's so much bonus material, training material, and it never goes away. You'll have it for the rest of your life. I can't stress this whole thing enough. I literally created this whole course. I designed this whole entire thing along with Bradley's people over at Lightspeed VT, to where it's an interactive platform where we can just help everybody. And we're gathering data and analytics on your guys' performance in these training events so that we're coming together, we're strengthening iron, sharpening iron, friggin' steel, friggin' helping steel. And you're gonna be able to get custom curtailed curriculum that's going to support your weak areas so that you can become strong all around, know how to save lives, protect lives, and just be the hero for your family. So, all right, everyone, Lethal University, Lethal Lifestyle. Check us out on Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff. We're not shadow banned. And I really hope that you guys get some good from this. And for all you ladies out there who are watching, you've got what it takes. Trust me, it's not anywhere near as difficult as you think that it is. I have absolute confidence and faith in all of you and your ability to defend yourself against violence and violent crime when trained properly. All right, everybody, take care. I love you all. Until next time.